American television sitcom The Jamie Foxx Show was created by, you guessed it, actor, comedian, and singer Jamie Foxx, who also stars, and television writer, producer, director, and actor Bentley Kyle Evans. The two also served as executive producers, and the show was run through Jamie's production company, Foxhole. He also composed and performed the theme song.
Here I come, here I come, here I go. Tonight's the night you can check out my flow. Hey, girl, that's my world. Simple things, all I need. Simple things, all I need.
The series premiered on the WB network on August 28, 1996, and ran for 5 seasons, ending on January 14, 2001. Although the show was not a major success with the ratings, it did help launch Jamie's acting career, while also relaunching Garrett Morris's career after his 1994 shooting. It also served as a launchpad for Haitian actress and television personality Garcelle Beauvais. The Jamie Foxx Show tapped into a familiar sitcom setup, but there was always a bit more to the show than met the eye. Using the tried-and-true comedy scenarios established by series like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Seinfeld, and Martin, it was clear from the jump that this was going to be a series uniquely its own. At the center of it all is the man with his name on the marquee. For a lot of audiences, this was their first glimpse of what Jamie was capable of, and throughout its 5 seasons, it did not disappoint. While we know him today to be one of the most versatile performers on the stage and screen, from his portrayal as Ray Charles in the biographical film Ray to the hero of Django Unchained, once upon a time, Jamie was a promising up-and-comer without much of a resume to speak of, outside of a handful of memorable but short-lived roles in TV shows like In Living Color and Rock. That is until he developed The Jamie Foxx Show, starring himself, playing a character not so unlike himself. Much the same as other staples of the time like Jinko jeans and Beanie Babies, the WB has gone by the wayside. But there are still plenty of fond memories to be had for anyone with a love for the era's sitcoms. Kicking off in the early 90s, the network served as a sort of counterpart to Fox, which had found success through introducing comedy series with a lean toward working-class protagonists. The WB's first program was The Wayans Brothers, starring Jamie's fellow In Living Color alum, Sean and Marlon Wayans. More comedies were added to the slate, like the short-lived Unhappily Ever After, The Parenthood, Seventh Heaven, The Steve Harvey Show, and a whole line of shows aimed towards kids titled Kids WB. These shows all had dedicated fans, and many of them managed to stick around long enough to make an impact, putting The Jamie Foxx Show in good company and allowing it to stand out. Jamie King, played by Jamie Foxx, is an aspiring musician hailing from Terrell, Texas, where Jamie Foxx grew up, who has come to Los Angeles to pursue a career in the entertainment industry. To support himself, he worked at his family's hotel, the once grand but now aging King's Tower, which is owned by his Aunt Helen, played by Elia English, and Uncle Junior King, played by Garrett Morris. His other co-workers during the series run were the beautiful front desk clerk Francesca Fancy Monroe, played by Garcelle Beauvais, and Jamie's bougie nemesis, Braxton P. Hartnebrig, played by Christopher B. Duncan, who works as an accountant for the King's Tower. Also during the first season, Andy Berman played Dennis, the bellboy, for 12 episodes. While Jamie is very much the star of the show, that's not to say that he's not working with a stellar cast of supporting actors. One of the most notable is Saturday Night Live alum Garrett Morris, who became comedy royalty in the 70s as one of the original cast members of the show that would go on to change TV history. By the mid-90s, he'd been primarily appearing in the series Martin, playing one of Martin's bosses, until he was shot by a mugger in 1994. Due to his hospitalization from the attack, he was written out of the series. A couple of years later, he'd make his comeback as Jamie's uncle on The Jamie Foxx Show. Even though Jamie's romantic overtures towards Fancy went mostly unrequited throughout the series, they do a lot of growing together and eventually become a couple, which ultimately leads to marriage. Braxton, who generally served as the brunt of Jamie's insults, later becomes Jamie's best friend. And Junior and Helen ultimately decide to retire together. As with most of the WB sitcoms of the time, The Jamie Foxx Show isn't what would be referred to as a ratings smash, but it had impressive staying power, running for 5 seasons and ultimately calling it a day with its 100th episode. Plenty of other sitcoms of the time faded long before a 5th season, so it's hard to deny that audiences showed up for this show, even if they did so in relatively small numbers. The 5th season of the series was actually quite short, with only 12 episodes compared to the 20-plus episodes of prior seasons. By this time, other acting opportunities were calling, and the main story arcs of the central characters were running their course, making for a good time for the cast to move on to other projects. In 2020, during Jamie's appearance on Garcelle's podcast, Going to Bed with Garcelle, they reminisced over their decades-long friendship and explained why they never took their relationship to the next level. While starring as eventual lovebirds Jamie and Fancy, it became obvious how palpable their chemistry was on set. The pair, however, decided not to date while filming. Unfortunately for Jamie, Garcelle had already moved on by the time shooting wrapped. Garcelle also revealed that a fellow Real Housewife, Kandi Burruss, recently asked her why the two of them never dated. She goes, I don't get it. Why aren't you and Jamie together? And I said, well, we have a really great relationship now. And then I said, he's also hung like a horse. What would I do with all of that? If you assume then that absolutely nothing romantic happened between Jamie and Garcelle while filming The Jamie Foxx Show, you'd be wrong. In 2022, Garcelle appeared on TV1's Uncensored Unscripted and revealed Gladys Knight, who played Jamie's mother on the show, once caught her and Jamie exchanging a kiss. We did steal a kiss one time backstage. Gladys Knight came around the corner and she saw us, and I remember being so embarrassed, but that was a one-time thing. Around this same time, Christopher B. Duncan spoke out about his frustration with being typecast for his role on the show. While he's grateful for the fan appreciation, he says it treads the thin line of love and hate. In an interview with Comedy Hype, he shared, "I have a bittersweet relationship with that issue. That I deal with till this very day. There are people who will always see me as Braxton." While his work from The Jamie Foxx Show is easily considered as some of his most recognizable work, he's done so much more in his career that dates back to the 1989 soap opera generations. Still, he's found that proving himself in action and drama have done little to show some fans and industry decision makers that he's more than just the funny guy. As years have passed and Christopher has had roles in scores of productions, his frustrations of being pigeonholed in people's minds as Braxton has grown. "I'm disappointed that sometimes there isn't more flexibility in perception, because if you see me in a different role, you see me doing the work if it's a comedy, a drama, whatever it is. All I ask is for some openness to receive it. Some people are able to do that, and some people still have this response of, 'Oh, come on, that's Braxton. That's Braxton.'" Despite the show transcending the barrier of being accepted only by audiences of color, Christopher said it's his own community of Black creatives that have proven to be less receptive to his full range of acting. "If I walk into a room full of, let's say, brothers and sisters who are producing this project, and I literally hear, 'What's up, Braxton? What's up, man?' It's like a wrench in my gut, because it's immediately saying to me, even though you're here and we're seeing you for this dramatic role, for this romantic lead, for this hard-hitting, heavy character, even though we're seeing you for that, we just made it clear to you how we see you." But even with his frustrations of being cast in Braxton's shadow, he has zero regrets about accepting the role. The Jamie Foxx Show aired in broadcast syndication distributed by Telepictures Distribution and Warner Brothers Domestic Television Distribution beginning in 2000. Warner Home Video released Season 1 on DVD in North America in 2005. Warner Archive has subsequently released Seasons 2 through 4 on DVD. These are manufacturer-on-demand releases available from Warner's online store and Amazon.com. As of 2021, all episodes of The Jamie Foxx Show were made available for streaming on HBO Max.